Peace, family. Peace. Welcome to another exciting episode of Living Proof with yours truly, Love Alchemist. Hope y'all can hear me pretty good. Do me a favor and hit that thumbs up and make sure that you guys can hear me so I can make sure that my mic sounds nice. I see Ron G. What's good, cuz? Hey. Everybody do me a favor and hit that thumbs up, man. Hit that thumbs up, hit that like button, share this video. And do me a favor, and Ron, since you're the first one here, hit that number 1 button, man. Let me know that you can hear me. Okay, he said yes. Cool. Derek says sound is good. Y'all, okay, I'm going to share this video out to a few different places. Y'all do me a favor and do the same. Share this video, and let's see if we can get us a good conversation happening so that we can share some of the wisdom and the insights of a powerful guest. I've spoken on a couple different occasions and shared the platform with this wonderful, brilliant mind on more than one occasion. And I'm really excited about sharing the stage with her tonight, yet again. But before we do, a word from our sponsor. This show is being brought to you in part by the Heart Work book, 31 Days to Mastering Your Relationship. This is a book that my lovely wife and I wrote together to share our 31 years, or 33 years total, marital experience. And we put it all in the binder for the purpose of helping as many people as we could. So run on over to www.theconditionsoflove.com and get yourself a copy of that masterpiece that we put together. So today's topic: what do women bring to the table? Now, this is a question that has been looming in the internet spaces for quite some time. And before I jump into it any further, I'm going to go ahead and bring our guest on up. And I don't want to do anything further without her. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Sister Andrea Muhammad. How you doing, sis?
I'm doing wonderful, and I'm just so honored that you would have me on this evening. Excited about the topic. Just want to break some of the barriers of communication that we have between men and women. So I'm eager to get started, and happy to see you. Happy New Year, brother.
Likewise, happy to see you as well. Happy New Year. Hope all is well with you and the family.
Yes, likewise.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm sharing this video. Just give me another millisecond, and I'm gonna share this video to a couple different spaces. And I've been looking forward to this conversation because I've been having a lot of conversations with several different brothers and sisters, and this is one of those conversations that's just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of seemed like it came almost from nowhere over the last, I don't know, maybe a couple years or so. But before we go any further, I want to play this video for you and the family. It's on Instagram, so for whatever reason, my screen won't quite let me share it. But I think the audio will be sufficient. So I'm gonna play this video and then we can get started. So okay. Y'all listen up real quick. Here we go.
Men provide in more than just a financial way.
Okay, hold on. Let me start that over. There we go.
And I want to make sure that y'all understand that men provide in more than just a financial way. And that's my problem, because if I sit here and ask, okay, cool, if I pay every bill in this house, right, and I fix everything in this house because I'm an electrician, what are you bringing to the table as a woman? What do you realistically do other than have sex?
Here we go. And take notes. So what I do is I make that house that you pay for, that you pay that mortgage for, I make it at home. I cook the meals. I'm washing clothes.
That's $100 a week.
Don't play with me.
I can get it made.
No. You see the question, right?
Everything that you're telling me can be bought. Guess what? I can have an assistant order me paper towels and toilet paper and groceries on Amazon. Actually, I get Whole Foods delivered to my house weekly. Meal preps is $120, and I get 3 meals a day. I make myself my own breakfast. That's 4 square. I have another cleaning lady. She charges me $100 a week to come clean. You are only saving me $600. And then.
Okay, so could y'all hear that pretty good?
I heard it.
Okay, so now I want to get into this because I think asking what women bring to the table. First of all, man, pardon me for being so rude. do me a favor and introduce yourself to the family, kind of give them a little bit of your background, a little bit of information about who you are, so that they can kind of get an understanding of a little bit more of an understanding of who we're dealing with.
I am Andrea Muhammad. I am a follower of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam. I am a wife of nearly 25 years, coming up in March. Very happy about that. I am a mother of 5 biological children, but 6 children in total because my husband and I adopted our oldest daughter. And I only mention adopted because I think it's important to mention that, to not take anything from her birth mother, but to explain to people that that's my child, you know. And I am an educator. I am a motivational speaker, but not just motivational. You know, that we use that term, but I don't just want to motivate for the moment. I want to inspire people. That's my life goal, is to inspire people to be the best them that they can be. So I am the co-partner in Becoming Better, an LLC with my husband, and we do relationship building strategy and coaching. And you know, we spend a lot of time talking to people and coaching people through their relationships, whether they're marital relationships, family relationships, relationships on the job. It doesn't matter, because we're not in this alone. And some of what I heard that brother talking about, and that let me know that he's kind of, you know, kind of going the way that a lot of us are going. I can just do it by myself. So I want to address some of that tonight, but that's who I am in a nutshell: a daughter, a mother, a sister, a friend. You know, I'm your sister in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So let's get into it. In your estimation, was this even a question? Was this even a valid question 100 years ago?
No.
And so go ahead.
Absolutely not. You know, there were roles that were clearly defined 100 years ago. But even 100 years ago, when women were probably dealing with different kinds of oppression, I won't say more, but I'll say that the expression was different. You know, 100 years ago, many women did not have education. 100 years ago, many women did not work outside of either secretarial work or domestic work. 100 years ago, or education. You know, you might be a teacher, but if you were a teacher, in many cities, it was illegal to be married. You had to choose. Either you were going to be a teacher or you were going to be a wife and a mother. You couldn't do both. Some women took on jobs in nursing or assisting doctors, but that we were pretty limited to just those things. But in that time, I don't think men were sitting around saying that all you're good for is sex. I don't think men were sitting around saying, you don't do anything for me that I can't pay for. So I don't think that that's where we were 100 years ago. And I believe it's because we valued family a lot more. And we understood that in order to have a functioning family, you had to have both roles participating with each other. And I won't say it was ever 50-50. The CEO of our school always says this. He says, you know, you don't give 50% in a relationship. It's 2 people giving 100%. So it's really 200% when you come together as a partnership. What a woman does, she's going to do at her 100%. And what a man does, he's going to do at his 100%. And if you are honest with yourself, you respect and appreciate what that other person brings to the table. You value it. And so 100 years ago, men did value it very much.
Okay, so that rolls me to my next question then. If it wasn't a valid question or a necessary question 100 years ago, is it a valid question today? And if so, what changes do you think brought this question to the surface?
You know, I hate to say there's a lot of envy there, but I do believe that there is a couple of things. We've gotten away from our spiritual base. Whether you are Christian, whether you are Muslim, Jewish, whatever your faith tradition is, many of us have gotten so far removed from a faith tradition and a foundation, a personal foundation for our own development, that we've pulled God out of our relationships. Whether it's our relationships with men, women, with our children, he's not around. And it's not that he doesn't want to be there, it's that we don't invite him. We put up walls against him. And as a result, now we're thinking that we're in it for ourselves and by ourselves. And I think that that's played out in many different ways. If you look at our entertainment, if you listen to our music, if you even kind of go through social media, there are so many things that are anti the other, anti-man, anti-woman. And so what it's done is it's further divided us from appreciating and respecting each other and what we have to offer each other. So as a result, we're further away from God, but we're further away from each other, which is by design, because God is the essence of both. You know, within God, you have the essence of man and the essence of woman. You don't just have a man, because he created us both in his image. To one of us, he gave certain attributes, and to the other, he gave certain attributes. But when you bring them together, now you're creating. Man can't create by himself, but woman can't create by herself either. Although women are more in tune with the creative nature, it's that life seed that actually brings about life. You know, we have part of it, but you all have the other part. So to say that I'm only worth sex is just it's complete madness. You know, I have to be worth more because through me comes life. You can't carry a baby. And I don't think you all would want to push one out. So, you know, because I mean, you weren't created to do it, and it's okay. It's okay, you know?
So when you say jealousy, I just want to make sure that I get that perspective accurately. I want to make sure I understand what you mean. What exactly do you mean when you say jealousy? Who's jealous? What do you mean by that?
You know, my husband talks about this a lot. He talks about how when we were brought over here, we were brought under the auspices of slavery. We didn't come over. It was not a cruise ship, y'all. Anybody out there watching thinking that we just booked passage like most of the immigrants did? We were not immigrants. Let me just let you know, if you've been taught in school that Black folks got on ships because we wanted to come to the New World, that is not true. Okay, y'all? That's not true. We did not book passage to come to the Western Hemisphere. We were where we were, and we were living life the way we were accustomed to living it. We had a knowledge of self. We had our own knowledge of God. We had our own identity. When we came here, that was robbed from us. And so we were bred and schooled and taught to be less than human. Men were put with many women. Something else most people don't understand is it wasn't just women being brutalized and raped on those plantations. There were many Black men, usually the strongest Black man, was pulled in front of the whole community of slaves, in front of white people who were oppressing us and enslaving us, to be made an example of, and they were oftentimes gang raped. They were oftentimes brutalized, and this was to emasculate that man. Now, if you go through Willie Lynch, and some people, argue, oh, well, is that really authentic? How do we have proof? We don't have to have proof that that document is real. We can look at the effects. We can look at the evidence. We can look at how we treat each other in our community today in 2022. I'm not even talking about 10, 15 years. I'm talking about right now, today. Is there colorism? Absolutely. Are there people talked about because they have hair like this versus long, straight hair? Absolutely. Are there men talked about because they have dark skin? Men talked about because they have broad noses. Women talked about because they have a big butt, a small butt, whatever. It doesn't matter. We have been conditioned to hate each other, conditioned to hate ourselves, conditioned to see a problem with who we are. Now, if that's the case, don't you believe that if I don't love myself, that I have a problem loving that man who is supposed to be by my side? So
Right.
even in those documents, jealousy and envy was bred into us. We were created in the likeness of God, but somebody knew that. Our open enemy who wanted to oppress us knew that. And in order to do that, they had to take God away from us, but they also had to teach us that they were God and that they were better than us and that we could not depend on each other. And in order to keep us from depending on each other, we had to then become envious of each other. So now we fast forward. First, it was, the field hand, the house Negro, right? House Negro got it made. Those women in the house, they're living a life, but they're being raped every night. Y'all don't think about that. They're being used as belly warmers. Y'all don't think about that. Their children are being sold off, just like, even though that's Master's child, it doesn't matter. That's a slave, right? House Negro has some of the same things, just maybe the conditions they felt were a little more harsh. But the end result was we were oppressed and we were trained to hate each other. I didn't have faith in my man because my man couldn't save me. My man didn't have faith in me because I was sleeping with Master in his mind, right? So that envy, now we fast forward and it looks like women get jobs a lot faster than the Black man, right? Black women get a job a lot faster. So now you're a little envious. Well, you can't do nothing for me because you're not at home with my children. You're not cleaning my house. I can pay somebody to do all that. I don't even know if I really want children. And then we talk about, and I had this conversation with somebody said, we don't really pay attention to the fact that the strategy has not changed. It's divide and conquer, divide and conquer, divide us as a family, children to parent, divide us as a couple, husband to wife or man to woman. So how do you do that? Now it looks like Black women are getting jobs a lot quicker than Black men. But then do we look at, okay, well, how many Black men are incarcerated? Or how many Black men are dropping out of college? Or how many Black men are not graduating from college? It's not necessarily that we are getting more jobs. It's that what are we pulling from? What is the employer pulling from in specific jobs? But then there are jobs where Black women aren't getting hired, where Black women are getting hired after Black men, after white women, after white men. We tend to look where we're comfortable. We tend to look at what's going to validate us and our position and our opinion, as opposed to communicating with our counterpart. Like we're doing right now, Brother Vaughn. You're communicating with me. I'm communicating with you. I'm learning to see things from your perspective, and you're learning to see things from my perspective. But what we've been conditioned to do is to not communicate with each other. What you say is right to you, and what I say is right to me. And we never meet in the middle and try to understand or empathize with each other. See, the reason 100 years ago we were able to build Black Wall Street, we were able to build Brooklyn, Illinois, we were able to build all of these communities where Black people were thriving, like Rosewood, was because we were coming together and respecting what we had to bring to the table. Now we're selfish, and now we're judgmental, and now we're envious, and we act on all of those things. And what are we producing? What are we producing?
Chaos.
Absolute chaos.
Yeah. Wow. Powerful. Okay. So let's get into it then. I mean, we're talking about, working together and all of these things. And again, this question is at the forefront. So I'm going to throw the ball back in your court. What is it that a man should be looking for or expecting of a woman to bring to the proverbial table, if such a thing even exists? In your thoughts?
I do believe there is a table. And I believe that just like the goblet for water, the glass for wine, the pitcher for tea, each individual utensil, each plate, each bowl, each napkin, the centerpiece, they all play a part in producing a beautiful meal, not to mention the food that comes and gets placed on that table, right? What we have to do is begin to look at what it is that makes not us whole, because we were already created whole, but what makes us be able to build. If I have a table and I want to have a meal, yeah, I can put a meal on the table. But what is the quality of the meal in comparison to, I'll compare it like this. If I have a meal at McDonald's, there's a table, there's some food, right? And I compare that to a meal at a 5-star restaurant where the wait person, the service staff is going to come and they're going to place the napkin in my lap for me. They're going to serve each course. I'm going to know how to set my dinnerware on the plate in order to let them know that I'm ready for that to be removed and for the next course to be brought to me. I'm going to know how to properly eat the soup. I'm not going to scoop it to my mouth like I don't have any training, but I'm going to take my time. I'm going to take the spoon away from me, and then I'm going to gently bring it to my mouth. I'm not going to slurp it off the spoon. The quality of the meal is going to be different. Even my body is going to respond to the time that I take to eat the food versus the time I take to scarf some food down my throat. My body is going to digest it properly. I'm not going to overeat. I'm going to eat just enough. Both are meals, but what's the quality of the meal? See, when I come to the table as a woman and I sit down at that table with my husband, I'm bringing to him compassion, support, love. I'm bringing to him unwavering commitment. Not that it won't be tested, but even after it's tested, and even if we don't always pass the test 100%, we're together. I got him, he got me. If he says, I'm going to get my doctorate, guess what? You can do it. I got you. What do you need from me? How can I support that? If he says, I want to build a business, let me see your plan. Let's talk about it. Let's strategize. Let's pull somebody in who knows that industry. See, that's what a spouse does for the other spouse. Now, I can go through the roles. I can say, as a wife, yes, I've given birth to children and I've enjoyed being pregnant. I've enjoyed duplicating that love over and over and over again, and seeing our children grow up to be the awesome people that they're becoming. I can say all of that. But I can also say that my husband brings to the table something else. He brings a support that says, you know what, you're my wife. And so I understand that when you're more developed, it's only going to benefit us as a family. It's only going to benefit our children. It's going to inspire our daughters to be great. It's going to be inspiring to our sons to find somebody like this for them. See, there's grounding in that relationship. When you don't have that relationship, and I know because I didn't always have one, y'all. See, y'all, people who aren't married, they tend to think that we were always married. We weren't born married. I didn't get out the womb with a husband. I got out the womb and I did what other folks did. And I was single and doing what other single folks did, right? But that was not something that, in comparison, especially I look back now and I'm like, man, how would I be living at this age, this stage in my life, and being that person? See, there was a loneliness there that at the time I wasn't really willing to admit to. You know, I'm single. Ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do. You know how we talk, Brother Vaughn. Men and women talk that way. Am I right?
Yep.
Did you say ain't no woman gonna tell me? You know, ain't no man gonna tell me. What you mean? And my girlfriends, they say, oh no, you know, you gotta go home. What? Who?
Right.
Please, I got one daddy, right? I mean, all the stuff we say.
Yep.
It doesn't change. Some things are not as different based on male and female as we like to make them. We like to make certain things different. Now, certain things are. But that attitude of I can be by myself, you know, the brother said anything a woman can do, you know, I can pay somebody else to do. Okay, so you don't think that we're in the same boat? I can take my car to get repaired at a car repair shop. I can have somebody cut my grass. I can have somebody come and take the trash out. All those things, that's not what a relationship is built on. Those are things you do out of servitude for the person that you love because you want to. I want to do some service-oriented things for my husband, and he wants to do and does plenty of service-oriented things for me. That's not the end all and be all of the relationship. The root of the relationship, it starts with that spiritual connection. It starts with wanting to express love, which is synonymous with God, to the other person. And then service comes out of that because that becomes another way that we express it to each other. But, you know, having somebody pay bills, hell, I work, I earn money, and I know how to earn money. I attract money. I know how to attract money. That's not a problem. I don't need a man to do that. Does my husband do it? Yes. Because he loves me and he loves our family. But that's not why we're together. It's not so he can pay my bills. That's not what this is. This is not a 1990 song. Can you pay my telephone bills? It's not a song. Reality says that those things that that man was saying, that he was expressing, that a woman, he can pay a woman to do, women can pay men to do those things. That are what we consider the traditional roles. But I can't pay a man to be supportive. I can't pay a man to 100% have my back. Nor can you pay a woman for that. You can't do it.
Right. That's right.
You can't do it.
That's right. You know, the way he was making, the way he was responding to the different things that she was suggesting, just made me think that he just didn't want a wife. And so if you don't want a wife, if you don't want to be married, and you can even flip that and say, if you don't want a husband, for those who don't want to be married, you can find 101 reasons as to why you can replace what a husband or a wife might bring to the table. Right. But I think what a lot of people are attempting to replace that comfort of a spouse with is material gain, material possessions. But there are some basic needs that people have. We have these needs to feel significant, right? These strong desires to feel appreciated, the aspect of love and connection. Like, people are acting like these things don't mean anything, but experts have theorized that as much as 95% of our overall well-being can be attributed to how well we do in our relationships, in our intimate relationships. And so I guess what I'm getting at is that much of these responses, much of what we're hearing now and seeing on the internet and all of this negativity and such, I think is more so a response to the frustration and resentment that people are experiencing. And I don't think it's an organic dislike or lack of desire for their masculine and feminine counterparts. What do you think about that?
You know, I totally agree. We're going through some unprecedented times. We're dealing with a pandemic, right? And we're dealing with technology that no other generation had at their fingertips at the same time that they were going through a pandemic. So there are some historical differences there alone. Think about the impact of this pandemic. We all came home, right? Zoom shot up. Facebook shot up. So we struggled with being remote and being in our homes and away from people. But then we kind of embraced it in almost, and I like your word, the opposite of your word, organic, is inorganic. We embrace certain things in a very inorganic way, things that we were already embracing. And then we were told, okay, stop communicating, stop, coming in contact with each other. And we had already started down that road. I don't know if you picked up on that. Everything is social media, right? So 24 years ago, because our oldest son just turned 24 last week, but 24 years ago, my husband and I were sitting at a restaurant. It was the day that I went into the hospital to deliver. And we went out to dinner before he dropped me off, we went to the hospital. We had gone to my doctor. My doctor said, you know what? You're going to go today. So go pack some things and meet me at the hospital. So we decided to have dinner first. And we're sitting at the table. This is before cell phones were as common as they are, but they were becoming common. So there's a man sitting at the table and he's got his phone and he's sitting there on the phone, family sitting at the table with him. He is so removed from his wife and his children who are trying to enjoy a dinner with him. And I looked at my husband, I said, I don't ever want to be that. Now we fast forward 24 years and we see that people will sit at a table and they'll do selfies at a table full of family and friends. They'll selfies and, they pose, do the duck lips and all of that, right?
Yeah.
And we're mad, man. We are so insane. I laugh because my mother-in-law, I love her. She is awesome. But before she had Facebook, she would videotape herself, like when she come visit us, and she'd be talking, yeah, and I'm in Fort Lauderdale, and I'm here, and I'm there, and my husband said, Ma, who are you talking to? And she said, oh, the people. He said, but do you have Facebook? She said, no. And he said, well, how are they going to see that? But I'm just saying that's where we have gone. We have gone to the point where we're no longer intimate. Everything is media. Everybody is just so, man, we think we're so confident, but we're not. We're so just out there hoping that somebody is going to pay attention to us. And we're sitting at the table full of people who want to pay attention to us, unless they're doing selfies and stuff too. So we're disconnected. And we started that journey before the pandemic hit, but then the pandemic hits and we all freak out like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to, interact with people, but you haven't been interacting with people anyway.
Yeah.
So we just kind of dug in a little bit deeper. And I saw it with my children. Our 18-year-old is just super social. But I saw when he was starting to meet people on the internet, and then he was like, oh, I don't like them. And then he just kind of like unplugged. And it was inspiring to me because I was like, I'm only going to allow myself a few minutes a day to scroll. I don't even scroll every day anymore because I want to live. I don't want to exist. And I don't want my reality to be virtual. Now you add that on to relationships. My 24-year-old desperately wants a relationship, but he keeps meeting these crazy people and he's meeting them on the internet. There's something to be said about coming in contact with people in an organic manner. There's something to be said about, flirting with people in person, y'all. You just like brush up against somebody, you hold hands, man. I mean, you can't replace that. And so when we start talking about what do you bring into the table, hell, holding a prostitute's hand is going to feel a lot different than holding my hand. Because I'm authentic. Not that she's not authentic with whoever she loves, but she don't love you. She loves what's in that wallet. When she gets that, it's gone. And to add to what you said about studies that have been done, conducted on people who have healthy relationships with a life partner, y'all, people who have relationships live longer. They usually sleep way better. And I can bear witness to that because when my husband is not home, I cannot sleep. And I know he can't sleep without me. But when we're together, we sleep soundly. We snuggle. People pay
Big spoon,
for
little spoon, right?
snuggle. Yeah, you know. And I mean, think about that. You're gonna pay somebody to snuggle with you, and I'm just gonna paint this picture. But then what if you book an appointment, but somebody else, she double booked. And she's going with the person who's gonna pay her more. So now you gotta go without snuggling. So you ain't gonna sleep right that night. But you know, if you marry somebody,
and that's not to mention disease.
Oh no.
You know,
I mean, come on, let's be real. If we're adults here, right? See, everybody has this thing, and I don't know why we do this. I tell you, I traumatized my 24-year-old when he was young because I wanted him to know that you're not just going to catch a venereal disease just because you didn't wear a condom. No, there are some that you can get even though you have a condom on. Right. And you snuggling with somebody, you might get a disease, and all you did was snuggle. Y'all, you didn't even have sex. So, not to mention, now you got COVID. I mean, come on. This is not rocket science. See, I'm not worried about catching COVID. And even when we had COVID in this house, it was funny. My husband said, "You're not going to leave the room, are you?" Because he had it. And I said, "No, I'm not. I'm not leaving the room. I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to get you healthy. I'm going to give you my energy so that you can bounce back."
Come on now, speak on it.
You know what I'm saying? See that? And there's a love that comes there that is going to help to repair your loved one when they're ill. Now, who's coming to the hospital for you when you're sick? Who's going to bring you your tea? See, you can't pay for all of that because those people got to go home too. They got to have a life too. But if you have someone that's a life partner that's sharing with you, when those tough times come up, and it's not if, it's when those tough times come up, you're not by yourself. And there is so much to be said for not being by yourself. It might be cute when you're 20, 30, 40, 50. Hell, it might be cute when you're 60. But when you hit 70 and they're talking about knee replacement or hip replacement, and you don't have somebody to hold your hand through that, you don't have you're depending on physical therapists. Their job is to get you out of that bed right away, right after that surgery. Oh no, I know you hurt. Get up. Let's walk. Get up. Let's get on this bike. Can't let it get stiff. See? So who are you calling? You calling the woman that you paid to clean your house and wash your underwear? You calling the woman that you paid to cook? You're not cooking those 4 meals a day today, sweetie, because you can't even stand up long enough. You're in excruciating pain, probably on a morphine drip. Who's taking care of you?
Yeah, I think people underestimate. So many people underestimate just how important those. Again, I'm gonna use these words that makes me sound soft, and that some guys even call me a simp for. I'm telling you that loving connection is something that cannot be replicated. It cannot be duplicated, and cannot be compensated for with a dollar.
No,
right? I don't care how much you pay that woman or that guy to come and provide whatever services that they're coming to provide. There's something to be said about genuine caring, right? And even before I came on the show just now, my wife was like, "Hey, baby, do you need anything?" And it's just that little, whether it's water or, sometimes I'm running late and she might say, "Do you need me to iron a shirt for you?" I mean, can I iron my own shirt? Yeah, I can iron my own shirt. Can I get my own water? Yeah, I can get my own water. But damn, it feels good to not have to do all those things and to not have to think about everything, right? To that type of like you said, to have somebody who's got your back. I'm talking about 10 toes down. You can't replace that with a dollar bill, man.
No, you can't. We were not created to be alone.
No.
We were not created to be alone. We're made like two pieces of a perfect puzzle, y'all. Look, just study us anatomically. Study how we were created, how our parts come together. We're like Pangea. We're like
Yeah.
the continents before they were separated. You know, see, you look at those continents, man, you put them back together and you see what was Pangea. You see what the beginning was. We're that. When you have us and you put us together, that's where just magic happens. I'm looking at it, it said that's called partnership. That it's even though we're two complete, I'm a complete piece of that puzzle and he's a complete piece of that puzzle. But when you put us together, see, now you're talking about synergy. Now you're talking about power. Now you're talking about unstoppable. See, you have a God and another God coming together, and guess what we do? We can create some more gods, right? That's when
right.
you start talking about being able to move and shape and mold and change things. That's where that spiritual connection, it becomes like magic. We just went to see Spider-Man. That's what I was running. I was like, I'm 2 minutes from the house. But I'm looking at, I look at movies like that. I love superhero movies, you all, because they do what we seem to think is impossible. But those things are based on what we have done. It's made fantastic, right? It's made like, oh, that's not real, but it is real. I'm telling you, it's real. Because when we put our minds together, now we can move like Doctor Strange, and we can open up portals and we can step into other universes and we can represent the creator in the best way. But when we have a partner, see, now you had 3 Spider-Men out there. It took the 3 of them to come together to be able to impact change, not to kill, not to defeat, but to impact change on the lives of people who were seemingly villains.
Yep.
But they came together. It was a partnership. So look at us as counterparts. When we come together, we're able to impact change. You take Dr. King without Coretta, who's helping that man? You look at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, without Mother Khadijah, y'all, he said it himself. He pulls her up in front of people and says, this is my wife. We're talking about over 50 years of living in a struggle. That's 50 years of this woman backing that man in this struggle. When you talk about Marcus Garvey, don't you know he had a woman backing him? Not a woman behind him, but a woman backing him. There's something about that. That's the spirit of God has to be in that woman when you're talking about men who are doing magical things like this, fantastical things, changing and impacting the world.
Yeah.
Now, what if we were changing and impacting the world together? What if we came together instead of being envious of each other, and we thanked God for what we bring to the table instead of trying to judge and see who's bringing more? Well, you ain't bringing enough, so I can go pay a maid. Well, go ahead and pay a maid. If that's your choice, go ahead and pay a maid. But then what do you deprive yourself of when you're paying the maid? And I'm not saying don't pay a maid. I might pay a maid too, y'all. that's not gender bias.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
But that's not what a woman is for. Just like a man is not just to come change your tire and take your trash out.
Yep.
I can take my own trash out.
The word I like is complementarity, right? And I got that from Baba Mwalimu Baruti. Mm-hmm. And he wrote a book on it and everything. But anyway, there's this idea that, so I'm an extrovert. I'm social. I make people laugh. I enjoy the interaction, right? My wife, on the other hand, she enjoys the interaction. She enjoys the social atmosphere, but she's more observant and quiet. Not antisocial, but just
reserved.
She's reserved. She's sitting back. She's watching. She's listening. And you may hear a chuckle. She'll laugh and she'll talk a little bit, but mostly she's observing. And then when we leave, she'll say, "Did you hear ... And I'm like, "No, I didn't hear that. I can't hear it because my mouth is running, right? Did you see ... I'm like, "I didn't see that. I was over here." So she's an extra set of eyes, an extra set of ears, right? And she can then come back and offer a perspective based on the interaction that we just experienced that I didn't have. right? And so then it gives me a whole new way of looking at things, or even it enhances the way that I might
Absolutely.
perceive what we just experienced. So this idea that, can you live a good life by yourself? Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. But I'm telling you, when you find and I'm just speaking to the men, since we're talking about what a woman brings to the table, there is a another set of gut instincts that are available, right? There is a there is another spirit of discernment that is available,
Absolutely.
that you don't bring to the table by yourself as a man, right? There is a spirit of giving that complements your life in a way that you don't have just because you got dollars in your hand, right? Because that spirit of giving is inspired by caring, right?
Yes.
Appreciation for your well-being, right? And then there's another thing, like going to the gym, right? And I land here. I go to the gym, and me and my wife go to the gym. Well, let me scratch that. Me and my brother go to the gym, and we work out. And there's this testosterone war, right? We try to see who can outdo who and all of this other stuff. But sometimes I go to the gym with my wife, and the inspiration for her to say, "Ooh, you look good," or for her to, I like impressing my woman. I like when she is impressed with what she sees in me. And so there's something to be said about the woman's presence and how it inspires us to do more than we might otherwise do if she wasn't there. So if you could just kind of speak on the instincts that a woman offers, the spirit of discernment that she offers, and also the spirit of inspiration, maybe even in the vein of what a muse might provide.
Absolutely.
Touched on that for me, please.
Yes. You brought up some really good points. So I'll deal with the spirit of discernment and intuition. Used to hear mother's intuition. That's real. That's real. And especially when you get a woman who's confident enough to rely on it herself. And we grow into that. That doesn't happen automatically. I think it's natural for women to typically go through these kind of stages where we come into, oh, okay, I have a bad feeling about that, or I think that this is probably the right way to go, and then we kind of lean back a little bit, something shakes us. I went through that, being shook, and then recently I kind of refound that intuition, and I said, and I was talking to God, having this conversation. I said, yeah, you gave me something there that I kind of been ignoring for a while, but I'm going to tap back into that. And I remember telling my husband, I'm going to let my intuition, because that's an inner God quality that women typically possess. The Creator didn't make any mistakes. He didn't. He created us imperfectly perfect. I'm going to say that again because somebody's going to be like, wait, what? He created us imperfectly perfect. So imperfectly perfect, by that I mean that we all have the potential to grow into perfection. But each stage, the way that we become perfect is through trial and error. It's through mistake. It's through learning what's going to make us better. So we try something, doesn't work. That's okay. And that's why we have free will, because we're supposed to be embracing the lesson. We're supposed to be embracing and being, listen to this, y'all, grateful for the trials. Because without the trials, we don't learn, we don't grow. And so we just remain imperfect. But he created us imperfectly perfect. So learning to rely on my intuition has been just a phenomenal experience for me and my husband, because now I'm able to say, honey, let's look at this. And I didn't have a lot of confidence, you all. I'm telling you, I didn't have confidence before, but now I can sit down with him. I can say, okay, you know what? Let's talk about this. Let's see if we do this. Let's look at how these things are probably going to play out. I have a strong intuition about how this is going to play out. Let's look at the two perspectives and see, because sometimes, and this is man or woman, when we're alone, we only see things from one viewpoint. We only see things from one perspective. Remember, there's the two essences of God, right? So just imagine if God didn't have a creative energy, if he didn't have a compassionate energy, he would pretty much be all wrath, just like we wouldn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
His patience would be different. So from him came both of us. That intuitive, creative, nurturing side, and then that all business, got to make it happen. You know, I'm going to protect, I'm going to uphold, I'm going to build. See, those things, when you bring them together, now you got something explosive. Mm-hmm. But by themselves, they're operating very limited. So when you put that intuition, now you got a little wisdom backing your ability to build and protect, your ability to wage war when necessary. See, if you don't have wisdom there, you're going to wage war when it ain't necessary. You're going to just be out there just taking heads, right?
That's right.
So now you got some wisdom there. Okay, well, let's look at this. Do we really want to go that route? Have we explored what the consequences can be? There is so much beauty in that, because the better I get, the better my husband gets, but then the better he gets, guess what, y'all? The better I get. It's like the best tennis match. It's like when you had Serena and Venus playing each other, and it was like, okay, when the ball gonna stop going over the net? It doesn't in a relationship. He sends it to me, I send it right back to him. Then he sends it back to me and I send it right back to him. And the whole time we know that even if we're not happy with the way the ball is sent over, the ball is delivered, it's the best thing for us individually and collectively.
And you're just happy to have somebody to serve the ball back to you.
Yes, because play tennis by yourself. It's fun.
That's right.
It's not fun. Comical, but not fun.
Yeah. You know, as you were talking, you reminded me of this idea. They say two heads are better than one, right? Now, I think I'm a fairly intelligent guy. I can sit around, I can come up with some ideas, and I can come up with some good strategies to, for my life. But there's something to be said about adding a second mind to the equation. They call that a mastermind.
Yes.
Two or more minds. And even the Bible says where two or more gathered.
Where two or more gathered, there I am.
There I am, right? So this idea that I think a lot of, and I'm just going to speak on the brothers for a second, a lot of men discount the added value of a second mind, which forms a mastermind effect on your strategies, on your planning, on your thinking, on your being and doing. Man, we got a few minutes left, so just kind of, I would go into a story, but I want you to do this. So just kind of touch on what those strategy sessions might look like as you work to make the family better in conjunction with his efforts to make the family better, and not even just the family, but your own lives.
I will. I do want to say one thing about the inspiration thing, because you brought that up earlier, and I didn't. Okay. I got so on to intuition.
Did I cut you off?
No, you didn't. You didn't at all. I was going on about intuitive nature of women, but I did want to mention this because you brought this up, and this is so beautiful. So you were talking about working out with your brother versus when your wife works out with you. When we were in college, my husband used to play basketball with a friend of his who played on our team, on the college team, and they would play, and they were very competitive with each other. So they would go up to the gym, and one day I went up. We were courting. We weren't married yet, and I went up, and his friend said, "Oh hell."
Game changer.
He's like, "Oh hell, it's over," And my husband just was hitting 3-pointers all over the place, just all over the place. But that's so real, because it's not that a brother is not going to push another brother, but it's something about their muse. It's something about the inspiration to be better. And see, here's what happens. when you're pushing each other as workout partners, you're going to push each other while you're there, right? But see, when you're inspired by your wife, now you want to be better the next time because you don't know if she's going to show up, right? So you're going to constantly be working to go from imperfect to perfect. You see? So
Yes,
you're constantly being pushed to be the best you that you can be, because you know that there's somebody there who's doing the same thing so that you all can grow together. So that just hit me. But the pulling together of resources and
the mastermind effect.
The masterminding. See, that's what pulling your resources together is about. When you come together, now you're able to build something. You're able to take those ideas and you're able to lay them out. My husband and I do this every year. We sit down, and we actually do it more than once a year now, but we usually around New Year's time, not New Year's Eve necessarily, but we sit down, we say, okay, let's get our journal out and let's go through the goals we have for this year. What do we want to do? Not what do we want to see happen, but what do we want to do? What are we going to do? How are we going to make this happen? And we start plotting out these things. See, now you have somebody who's on your page, and even if they're individual goals, you have somebody who's strategizing on how they're going to help you meet your goal.
That's right.
What they're gonna do, where they're gonna pick up, where there might be a little slack at home. Okay, I know Vaughn is in class tonight. So while he's in class, I'm gonna do A, B, C, and D so that he has dinner ready when he gets home, or so that he has this, or he doesn't have to worry about, dealing with children or whatever it is. Same thing on the other side. If you have a wife who's got these powerful goals, the CEO of the school that we work at, his wife is big time in real estate. But when he wanted to open that school, she said, well, let's open it. Now he walked away from a job and she backed him in opening that school. They sold one of their duplexes and she took that money to open the doors to the school. Now you can't pay for that. You can't pay some woman to come sell a duplex and give you her money so she can open a school for you.
Yeah.
You can't do that. But that was his goal. She was his help meet. That is the role of the wife in the relationship. The dinner, the clothes, all of that other stuff, those are really things that are to help you meet your responsibilities and your goals. If you don't have to worry about ironing your shirt ironed, you put that mug on and you go hit the road and do what you got to do to meet your goals.
Yep.
She sits down with you. She offers counsel. She rubs your feet and your back and your head. And when y'all bald men, y'all like your head to be rubbed.
I do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I know,
indeed.
I got one.
Yes,
but I'm just
indeed.
saying that's what we do. And those are things you cannot pay for love. You can't. Because if you're paying for it, when the money runs out. Now, see, we've been through not having money. I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. That whole ride or die. I am the ride or live. Ride to live with.
That's right.
And when it's our time, I'll still be here until God takes me.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't pay for that. You can't.
No.
And it's unfortunate that we don't have the sense that God gave a bug to be able to figure out that we need each other.
We do.
It makes me sad because I know what that person is missing.
Yep.
I know what they're missing. And as much as my husband and I might get in disagreements or, at the end of the day, that's my best friend. Outside of my mother and my father. And they're only my best friends because they knew me longer. and they gave me life.
Yep.
I didn't choose them though.
That's right.
See, I chose him. God put him there for me, but I had to choose. But I didn't choose my first two best friends. So think about that. We choose that best friend, and that's important.
It is. It is powerful, man. This has been a powerful hour. I hate that it's over. I'm definitely gonna have to bring you back because you got so much. You offer so much in such a small amount of time, and I appreciate it. Do me a favor and just tell everybody how they can follow you, where they can connect. I know you and Brother Garthian, you guys have a show that you do, as well as services that you offer. So just tell people how they can connect with you and how they can follow you.
You all can find us on Facebook, and we're Becoming Better. Now I'm a pull Garthian in. I'm really bad at this, you all. I'll talk all day long, but
bring him in, get him on the camera. Where you at, bro? Come on in.
Come on. If you're there, please type it in. It's Becoming. He's changed it a couple of times. That's why. Look at him. Here he comes. See, he's never far.
Oh man, what's happening, bro?
I'm gonna rub that head. So this is Garthian Muhammad.
How you guys doing? I've been listening. The whole time. You know it. Right in the other room. But so real quick, we have been away for a little while.
We have.
I think the last show we did was December. Me and you, we talked about some things, but I want to be able to. Sometimes you have to pull away because people become common, and they get used to. Oh, they'll be doing this show, you know, and we don't want to be monotony. We don't want to be commonplace because relationships should not and are not commonplace. So when you find that the advice that you get becomes commonplace, when it's not around, maybe you'll think about what we're trying to do. But we'll be back, God willing, this Sunday.
Give everybody.
Okay, and it's Becoming Better. By the way, our IG is Becoming Better TV, and it's spelled a little strange. It's still Becoming Better, but it's TEVEE. Becoming Better TV. Hold on one second. Let me double check.
See, that's why I said I couldn't do it.
And he can type it in the chat too whenever he comes back.
Yes, please type it in the chat. And I want to thank you, Brother Vaughn, because I really enjoy it. Whenever you do a show and you have me on, I really enjoy it because I love how you ask questions. Because in my mind, just like
so Becoming Better, and it's Becoming Better, all one word, TV, TVEE. So Becoming Better TV. That's the Instagram.
All one word.
Huh? All one word.
All
yes.
One word. TEVEE.
And then, of course, Garthian Becoming Better is the Facebook page.
Okay, so let me just make sure I got this right. At the IG is at let me see, IG at Becoming Better TEVEE. Right?
Yes, TVEE.
And you know, if I could just tell the brothers who are out there and sisters too, but really the brothers, because I seem to be hearing it more from brothers. Listen, if you all could just tell the brothers who are out don't deprive yourself of a good woman and a good relationship with that woman. Don't deprive yourself of who you can become by entering that relationship, the growth that you can experience and what you can bring to the table that's outside of the stuff that you think about, the money, paying bills and all of that. No, think about the other things that you have to reach into yourself and your soul to put on that table.
Mm-hmm.
Things that you don't even know you're capable of. Don't deprive yourself of that growth and development.
Okay, I put it in. I put the correct one in. Got it, guys. So Becoming Better TV, and that's TVEE.
Okay, I got it up on the screen right here.
Okay.
So now you know why I have a hard time trying to figure out.
Yeah, I struggle with it too, right?
So, look, thank you. All right, appreciate it.
Yeah, man, definitely. I appreciate. Thank you for sharing your lovely other half with us, man. She, like usual, she dropped some gems on us, and I appreciate your time.
Absolutely,
I appreciate the both of you. What you have, what you guys offer to just to the world, man. And I know I sound real cheesy right now, but just the presence that you two bring, man, and what you offer, the service that you provide. Like Muhammad Ali said, you know, service is the rent you provide for your space on this planet. And I think you two exemplify that in the highest fashion. So thank you to you two for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Well, like I said, it's been an hour of power, family. And Sister Andrea, she has laced us with some gems. We hope y'all were taking notes. Any parting words that you might have for the family, and we're going to close on out.
Just keep living and keep loving. And if you haven't started living yet, if you're just merely existing, start living. But understand that life is to be shared. It's not living if you're living alone. You're just existing. So I would strongly encourage you all, give yourself the choice and the chance. Find some love and share it, because you have more to give than what you're giving right now.
Amen. Amen. Well, I put some coins in the plate for that one. All right. Thanks again, sis. I appreciate it. And man, you guys have a wonderful rest of the week, and we'll talk to you next time.
Absolutely. And give my love to the family and to your beautiful wife.
I will. Y'all take care. Man, that was good. That sister always brings it. So heavy. Family, to support the show, you see the Cash App scrolling across the screen. Show your boy some love. Cash App $ at the Love Alchemist 11 $ Love Alchemist 11. Just if we can keep on bringing this content, and plus, you know what I do. I mean, I coach, I counsel, and a lot of times I even do it pro bono. You know what I mean? Just off, like my brother say, off the muscle. You know what I mean? Just for the love. So, but again, I want to, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and for that, I'm eternally thankful. I love y'all. Peace. Where my smoke? Where my smoke? Let me put my. I didn't even put my. Let me put my Love Alchemist out up here for y'all. Here we go. Yeah, I love that thing, man. That's dope. All right, family. That's it. Thank y'all again for being here. And we'll see you next week. Peace.